What sent a beloved leather-clad horror franchise to hell? Why has it been a decade since we've seen a new Friday the 13th movie? Let's find out with these tales of horror sequels that never were. World War Z is one of the most high-profile horror films ever made, with Brad Pitt in the leading role and a gigantic budget said to be in the $190 million range. It is a true horror outlier, especially when you consider the legacy of zombie movies, which are almost always made on the cheap. With a big budget comes big expectations, especially when tackling beloved source material, like Max Brooks' popular novel of the same name. But those big expectations caused big problems. Director Mark Forster's movie had a rough production and ended up needing massive and expensive reshoots. When World War Z hit theaters in 2013, audiences embraced it to the tune of $540 million at the global box office. The problem is that a movie with that kind of budget has high expectations, and those expectations, plus the troubled production, may have made Paramount a little concerned about greenlighting a sequel. Pitt tried to help things along by getting Fight Club director David Fincher on board for the film, but after months of development, the studio shelved World War Z 2. All things considered, World War Z was a pretty entertaining ride and doesn't necessarily play like a movie that had so many problems getting to screen. Does it resemble the book? Not really, but in building a franchise, there might have been a way to circle around to that eventually. Getting a sequel, especially from Fincher, is something that could have brought a lot to the table. Still, it is exceedingly rare for horror movies to become this expensive, and this is more of a cautionary tale than it is a guiding light for future blockbuster genre films. Jason Voorhees is one of the most recognizable horror movie icons of all time, so why haven't we seen him in over a decade? The 2009 Friday the 13th remake was all set for a sequel, but nothing ever came of it. Financial reasons aren't solely to blame, since the remake grossed over $91.5 million worldwide on a budget of $19 million, making it one of the highest-grossing films in the series. Despite the box office, negative reviews and legal issues left the sequel, and the fate of the entire franchise dead in the water. This new incarnation of Jason was supposed to make his return in a canceled sequel titled Friday the 13th: Camp Blood, which would have featured a wintry backdrop for the cold-blooded killings that were sure to take place. There were even rumblings of a new movie that would follow in the footsteps of the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity and adopt a found-footage style. Despite these plans, the ongoing legal battle between the writer and director of the original Friday the 13th film has made it tricky for Jason Voorhees to seek revenge on a new set of horny teenagers for the foreseeable future. Final Destination is one of the most successful horror franchises to be born in the 2000s, but the series stalled out following the release of 2011's Final Destination 5. Even though the sequel earned a very respectable $155 million at the global box office against a reported $40 million budget, that was seemingly not enough to justify the lofty plans the producers had in mind for Final Destination 6 and even a rumored Final Destination 7. Around the time of the fifth film's release, star Tony Todd said in an interview with Dread Central that the plan was to shoot two sequels back-to-back if the latest entry in the series opened at number 1 at the box office. Sadly, that didn't happen. Whether or not that ultimately had anything to do with the decision to scrap this lofty plan remains somewhat unclear. What we know for sure is that plans for a sixth entry have stalled in recent years, with various attempts to get it off the ground rising up, then failing to gain steam. However, things are currently looking up for the series. Spider-Man: No Way Home director John Watts is attached to produce a new version of Final Destination 6 for HBO Max, bringing the series to streaming in the near future. Based on creator Clive Barker's novella, The Hellbound Heart, the terrifying world of Hellraiser is one of torturous Cenobites, mysterious puzzle boxes, and a whole lot of S&M gear. The fourth installment, 1996's Hellraiser Bloodline, was plagued with production troubles from the beginning. Distributor Miramax demanded new scenes be shot and even requested a happier ending, all as the production went through a change in director. The film performed terribly at the box office and has since become the installment that fans refer to as Pinhead in Space. A script for the fifth film in the series, titled Hellraiser 5: Hellfire, was completed by Stephen Jones. But after the Hellraiser Bloodline disaster, Miramax made the decision to pivot the franchise to the direct-to-DVD market, and the script was scrapped in favor of Hellraiser Inferno. The Hellraiser series continued with 6 additional films that went either direct-to-DVD or straight to video on demand. A new Hellraiser remake from director David Bruckner is coming to Hulu in 2022, with Jamie Clayton taking over as the new Pinhead. Writer Simon Barrett and director Adam Wingard's 2011 home invasion horror You're Next is a cult favorite with dedicated fans, but middling box office returns and some studio changeovers stopped a potential sequel dead in its tracks. You're Next stars Sharni Vinson as Erin, a young woman with surprising survival skills who becomes trapped at the dinner party from hell. As invaders dressed in white animal masks descend upon the house to torture the family of Erin's boyfriend, she unleashes her inner survivalist to fight the attackers off. Erin is a final girl for the ages, and Barrett and Wingard had a sequel idea that could have made her even cooler. Sadly, it was not to be. You're Next made $26 million at the box office, which made back its production costs, but didn't quite justify the cost of a sequel. Due to corporate reorganizing at Lionsgate, You're Next took nearly 2 years to make it to theaters after being finished, and by that time, Barrett and Wingard had already moved on. It's a shame that we didn't get to see more of Erin's killer moves, but at least the movie helped establish Barrett and Wingard as creators to watch. Besides, it's still a lot of fun all on its own. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more SlashFilm videos about horror movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.